Okay, it is 9:28 a.m. It is, what is this? This is a Wednesday, right? Yep, this is a Wednesday, June 30th. I think it's the last day of the month of June. I don't think the watch list has changed very much. It's just gonna be morning panics, bounce plays, maybe morning spikes, maybe, but I don't really see anything that I'd be really too interested in for a morning spike. It's not really like HPIL was yesterday with the gap down, so this is going to be a watch, but mainly is going to be morning panic bounce place. I think the overall markets are starting to look kind of sketchy. If you look at a daily chart, I don't like how it gets all these small, tiny candles. It could keep going, obviously, but I'm going to keep that in mind if the markets start looking really bad, but it'll probably be fine today. It's just going to be a watch once again. Alright, it is 9:53. I did not trade anything because they were very, very choppy. A lot of them just had a morning panic. I'm still watching LWLG, and I did consider a buy at 9:45. I just didn't get executed right here at 394, which would have been a definite chase, but it just seems like it was gonna break out of this range right here and maybe run towards VWAP. I didn't get executed, and that's totally fine. Would have been a little bit of a chase too anyway, so it's fine. The reason why I didn't get in anywhere here in the 340s or 50s is because I just wanted a big volume candle, and we didn't get that. We had it back here, these two candles, but we didn't have anything down here. I'd wanted it to be a little more cleaner. WSRC, I guess I had a panic, but this wouldn't have been something I would have traded. HPIL, yeah, this one did it, but it wasn't clean again because it didn't have like a big volume candle, and I really like looking for those, although I was showing consolidation here in this 86 level. PHIL, it looks like it just traded back and forth. It didn't really do anything here. It looks like it's starting to do a panic, but it doesn't look very clean, so I'm not interested in it. If it looks clean, I'll be interested. This is the one that did work, MJWL. I didn't see it because I was looking at all the other ones at the time, looking for panics there. I think it was just, somewhere off on the list that I wasn't able to see it. But this one was the cleanest one because it did have the big volume candle right here. And then after that, that could have been like a nice uptrend. You could have bought at 18 and sold it at 19. So even though it had like a choppy drop back, this would have been nice where you take a buy in the 18s, and then it got a wick right here, so I would have tried selling anywhere above VWAP for a profit there, and that was the cleanest one. All the other ones are pretty much crap. REPO, this one, I don't call that a morning panic. This one's just trading so strangely. LWLG, it looks like it didn't even spike towards VWAP, which I understood that was a possibility with this one because it's a higher priced stock. It's very similar to a pump, so I don't regret that one at all. Just not trading, this one, or the fact that I didn't get towards VWAP, because this one's a bit different. I will be watching this for maybe follow-up drops or something like that, but right now I haven't traded anything. I'll just keep looking for more setups. Alright, it's 10:08. I'll be honest, I've been a bit distracted. I had to do something, so today's not really turning out to be the day in terms of concentration, which isn't really good. I did take a buy at 87, and I sold at 87. I just sold the next minute because I just didn't like the price action. I bought here at 6, right? We had a tiny spike to 88, and then at 7. I didn't like the price action. It just seemed very jumpy. The people on the ask do not leave. They just don't leave. And there was like some sketchy dumping on the bid, and it's starting to get a bit smaller. It was a lot larger in the beginning, so this thing could still work out, and it could even drop below 86 just a little, scare a bunch of people out, and then it could make an uptrend. But this thing could work out and make like a long and very slow uptrend towards that 1030 level. It could totally do it. Look how thin. Well, I guess it was trading between 86 and 88, and now it's I guess only just briefly, but even though the ask looks very thin, there was just a lot of people dumping shares, so kind of got me out of it. It could still work out, but it didn't work out when I really wanted it to. Because when I bought, I wanted it to work then and there. I felt like it was gonna work then and there, and if it doesn't, I get out. I do feel disappointed for missing LWLG for this follow-up drop. Now, it's not like it's necessarily clean. 410 to 1339, 1410, not 410. And then I got to the 60s. I might have considered it, but I feel like I missed out, which sucks because, you know, this one did ultimately get towards a VWAP. You know, that would have been a very profitable trade because I would have had to have traded a larger position size of 100 shares. Yeah, this is looking dead. This is taking too long. It could still work, but that is taking too long for me to be interested in it. I don't mind. I have to go pick up a car. I don't mind, you know, being out of the market just because I feel like I've been kind of like shaken out. So, you know, I'm not gonna try to force myself to get in a trade or anything, you know, stupid like that. Maybe if PHIL does something clean, I might consider it, but I don't like how this one didn't even get past VWAP. So this one is probably, it can do it, but I think there's a chance it's gonna fail. That's what I think. If I had been patient and been a little risky. No, that was about it. I bought the ask and I sold at the ask. That was about it in terms of that. Didn't make or lose anything. It was the exact same amount. No percentages or tiny, you know, tenths of a penny different. Nope. HPIL looks interesting, but it wasn't clean. LWLG, this is the one I would have considered, but I guess it is kind of hard to call this reversal with this big random volume candle. Not a volume candle, it was just a big green candle. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'll probably just stop looking. I guess this one could break the highs here at 37. That would be interesting. But I don't really see much of a setup. I don't mind calling it off early to do that thing I have to do. It's not like I have to do it right now, but you know, if it feels like the whole trading day is against me, I don't mind getting out of it. I'm not trying to fight, you know, the markets. That doesn't sound like something I can win. Okay, it is 10:19. I went for another trade. This one actually got a tiny loss. It was just 1%, $5, and that was PHIL right here. I took a buy at 9.2, 10.15, which was right here, 9.2. I hit the ask, and the idea was a lower low. It could still play out. Now the one thing that was in my favor was a big volume candle here, so I thought, okay, maybe everybody who's just so, you know, much in a hurry to dump their shares for whatever reason, maybe they're doing it and then they did it already here. So I took a buy at this 15.92 and just didn't like the price action. There was a lot of people dumping their shares on the bid and the ask. Even though it was starting to look smaller, it was deceptive, very deceptive, and you know, it got to this 90 level. That's when I said, okay, well, if it gets to this 90 level, I'm not trying to risk a crack under 90, but if it cracks 90, I'll consider selling if it gets to 90 on the ask, not on the ask, on the bid. So when that happened, I went ahead and put my sell order. I actually got executed nicely at 91. A lot of prints for 90 went through, and I just got in the print that got to 91. So that's pretty good in that sense. It could still work out here. Same with HPIL, which seem to trade back and forth. These can both work out, and I'm just not giving it the same amount of time, the right amount of time that it needs, and that's totally fine. But I'm going to go ahead and pick up the car now. Either one could work out totally fine. Definitely could work out, but it seems like there are some people who have a lot of shares that they're trying to dump. REPO is downtrending. MJWL, yeah, it looks like it did uptrend after it put up a higher low right here, 8.6. Not that clean, but this thing could still run a lot. LWLG, this is a bit massive. This is really nice. I can't get that upset because I don't know if I would have even have traded it if I was watching it when it was around here. WSRC, that's nice. This could be a dip towards VWAP setup. I'm just not going to be there for that. When I come back, I look forward to seeing what happens with WSRC, how it does if it did a dip towards VWAP, PHIL, HPIL, if those things eventually uptrend. Although this one doesn't look too nice because I feel like it's taking too long. PHIL could still do it though. That's my mindset. I'll be back. I don't know. It won't be that long. And yeah, I'll see how these things are doing then. Alright, it's 10:49. I came back, I took a quick look. This one did not work. HPIL. Again, a buy at 87, a sell at 87, 1007, 1006. Just took too long. Too many people were dumping their shares on the bid, and now it is broken this level here at 86. You got as low as 75. No big obvious volume candle unless you want to count those two. Took too long. And as for PHIL could still do it, but it's taking way too long. VWAP is getting closer, it's downtrending, so that means there is less potential range, at least if you ask me, for this setup to work. Although I did sell into here at 18, right here at 18, right? Yep, I sold at 18 and 91. It did eventually come back, but that's a risk to take that I didn't want to. And I could have sold at 92, maybe even at 93 at the ask for a slight profit, but of course that was never the intention. It could round off right here, who knows. Looks like there were these three big volume candles, but people are still dumping their shares. And as for LWLG, it is looking nice. Just wasn't there for it. It did go even higher from this 1590 to the 17th. So it's officially uptrending. Although it still has that sketchy wick. It's hiding it very nicely. And what was that one that did towards VWAP? WSRC. This one did it. WSRC did drop towards VWAP at 36. It wasn't really at VWAP or under it. It was slightly above it. Might have taken it. I might have not have taken it, thinking, hey, it's going to downtrend a little more. I don't know how the level 2 looked at the time, but I mean 36 to 38 kind of easily, and then if you hold longer, 40. That would have been hard though to sell at 40. Well, yeah, it would have been pretty hard, I think. Could pull up an inverse head and shoulder, shoulder head shoulder here, as long as it holds 38, and it can uptrend even more. As for 38, yep, it's still above the highs. This thing could keep running. It'd be kind of sketchy, but it could be an inverse head and shoulders. Maybe if it makes a shoulder. I don't know. It might be set up there. Probably not, because there is some risk. I could take a buy at 37. I don't want to then risk 36. That would be risking 3%. It looks better now at 37.13. It could pull up an inverse head and shoulders. But I'd probably trade a tiny position here. In theory, if I were to consider trading this, probably too late anyway, but I tried like 500 shares. If that could even get executed. That's where I'm at right now. I don't know. I think I might, or I might not trade it. It's just gonna be a watch. Alright, it's 11:55 a.m. It's midday, not necessarily the best time to be trading. I have to go to the garage and start working on some orders that I have, and so I'm gonna be off the markets. I don't mind today. I think I was definitely more aggressive today considering yesterday in mind. So I think I really pushed myself to try my best, and I think that's the best part, even though I didn't make anything. I lost just a tiny $5. Small speculative trade, cut losses rather quickly, just very sharply. Anyway, LWLG, just to summarize, 945, bit of a chase. 1394, but I was going for that VWAP, so it wouldn't have mattered if at 45 I got in at 94, right about here. If it goes to VWAP at 1440, that's a pretty good move if you ask me. Didn't get executed, that's fine. It did get as high as what, 1419, 1420. So there could have been a lot of opportunity to sell for a profit or break even if it didn't work out. I tried there and I don't mind that. HPIL, this one did not work out. So I tried to buy at 87, sold at 87, bought the ask, sold at the ask. 1006, 1007, right here. Just didn't like the price action. Too many people were dumping their shares on the bid like very conservatively, just trying to keep the bid as high as they can but still dump as many shares as they could. I don't know, I just did not like the price action. Didn't work immediately. Morning panic, this one was kind of a choppy morning panic bounce play, but it worked out from 87 to 93, not too much range. And LWLG did do it. It had to be the second higher low right here. I've started to see that a lot of these are higher lows, no longer lower lows. Anyway, that would have worked out. Don't know if I would have bought it or not. It broke VWAP 1358 to 1425, and then it got as high as 17, which is impressive. I was considering taking a buy. I don't know if I still have it saved at 1383. Yeah, but it just started to turn around too quickly right here. Threw me off. Big rag candle. And now it's doing it, but it's very choppy. So I don't mind missing this one completely just because of how horribly the price action is going throughout this entire morning and now close to the afternoon. Just trading very choppy. So I really don't mind. I still try to get a buy there. This one can keep going. Maybe it can hit VWAP again, but it's not the same setup because this isn't like the initial morning panic or the higher low, lower low after it. This is a bit later, random in the day, somewhat close to midday, so not really ideal. Don't mind missing that. And PHIL, this one did work eventually. I bought here at 9.2, 10.15 right here, and I sold at 10.18 because I just did not like the price action. I did not like how 90 was back on the bid. It held itself, could have sold again for a profit maybe or break even, but I don't mind that trade. It worked out eventually. It just took a long time, I guess, after so much consolidation down here, and then it started holding this level. I could have tried the same setup, and that if it gets back to 90 on the bid, I'll consider selling then and there. 92 to 98. That's not that bad. Obviously, I would have liked more range. It wasn't too ideal. VWAP kept downtrending, lowering the amount of potential profits, if you ask me. So, with all of this in mind, it did work out. Sure, it wasn't that much range. I mean, best case, you bought at 91, you sold at 99. That's not even 10%. So, yeah, give or take 10%. So not the best, definitely not the worst. WSRC did do that dip towards VWAP right here, 36 again to 39. So that's where I'm at. I'll be looking. I might trade if there is just some kind of a beautiful setup on my laptop in the garage, but probably not. I'm gonna just call it off for now. I might not trade the rest of the day. I might not make an update until after the market closes, but I don't mind today. Just trying my best. It didn't work out, but I still tried pretty hard. Alright, it is 9:21 p.m. and I'm here to call it off. I was looking at the markets when I was in the garage working, and there was one setup. I don't remember which one it was that I kind of hesitated on and I regret. But overall, it wasn't too bad. It was right here with WSRC. I think it was No, it wasn't this one. One of these had like a tiny dip. This one was a nice breakout, but I wasn't there when that happened, and that would have been hard for me to buy. You know, it breaks this 20 just a little, and then it just hangs under it. You know, a lot of distance from VWAP. That would have been hard for me. I don't regret that one. PHIL did nothing the rest of the day. Excuse me. W. I did it again. LWLG. This one didn't really provide much that I wanted. Later, it kind of lost volatility after the initial movements. Sure, I missed out here, but I overall feel good because I just feel like I was a bit more aggressive, trying hard, you know, to make things happen, and I think that's the most I could have done. I think, I don't remember which one. It might have been WSRC. There was a stock that was, I don't think it was this, but it might have been this. Maybe no. Was it DPLS? No, I remembered it being in the 40s. I think it was WSRC. I think it just had a dip over this previous level of support. And yeah, this was it. So this thing had a dip towards this previous level of support back here. And I thought, okay, it could try to run, you know, in the last 25 minutes or so till the market closed. And it did work out. It got to 41 to 43, so almost 10%. But you know, it didn't work out that much. It wasn't that amazing, but I think I feel good because I tried really hard today. Just to trade, just one loss, and it was just 1%, $5. And just to go over, I canceled LWLG way back in the morning. Let's get rid of extended hours so the chart looks nicer. It was back here at 9:45, and you know, it worked out just a little bit, but you know, if it would have gotten again towards VWAP and maybe even above it, that would have been very profitable. So I don't mind that one, even though it was a little bit of a chase. It wasn't horrible. HPIL, this one didn't work out, and that setup was at 10:06. Thinking, okay, you know, morning panic, bottom spike, higher low. Let's make another run towards VWAP and break past, and maybe even run further into 10:30. And I guess it was already bad in that, you know, it was a bit slow. I mean, 10:30 is pretty close, so it wasn't too ideal. And yeah, 10:06, 10:07, right here, just traded back and forth. Break even didn't cost me anything. And then PHIL, this one eventually worked out. It just took way too long for me to be interested in it. Maybe I could have considered it back here again, risking it off of the level not cracking and trading between 90 and 91 again. PHIL, that was at 10:15 right here. In and out, didn't like the price action, was taking too long, wasn't happening immediately. See how short this range is, 43 to 59. So, you know, then it goes from here to 10, 11 to 11:11. So that's a whole hour, a lot longer than it did here to make the move I was going for. You know, when I was in it at 10:15. You know, I wanted it to be kind of quick, right? I wanted it to immediately start working in favor. It just took too long, but it worked out eventually. I could have even potentially here, where was it, 10:15, 10:18. I even could have waited a little and maybe tried selling for a small profit, but you know, that would be a risk, and really it wasn't a sell that worked at the moment I wanted it to. Eventually it did go from that, this 92 level to 98, you know, 99, and then at its lowest, right, 93. So that would have been pretty nice in and of itself. But hey, I tried. It just took a little too long. VWAP was dropping, so there was less, you know, reward available. And I'm just gonna call it off right here. Just a good trading day because I pushed myself a lot better than I did the other day. Trying to go for those higher lows, lower lows, or double bottoms from the initial morning panic bounce play. I just have to keep getting better. I don't regret missing any of the morning panic bounce plays because they were all choppy, except for this one. MJWL, this was the cleanest one. I just didn't see it with all the other ones in the watch list. So that's it. Overall pretty good. Tiny loss, very tiny loss, which is good. You know, bigger gains than losses and more gains than losses. that's great. I hope I can keep doing it. I still have to improve on a lot of things. Be less hesitant, be less afraid of trading larger sizes. A lot of things I need to work on, but I like the progress, and I'll just, God willing, I'll just keep working on it. Just really happy that I pushed myself that much harder.